Welcome everyone to a brand new explainer. Today we're unpacking three massive, totally distinct financial shifts that are, right under our noses, fundamentally reshaping how money actually moves. Because whether you realize it or not, the underlying architecture of your wallet is changing, and it's changing fast. We're talking about everything from the apps sitting on your home screen right now to massive traditional bank mergers, all the way up to the very real regulatory friction happening between the federal government and crypto. So let's jump right in. Back to school season usually means dorm shopping, buying overpriced textbooks, and dining hall dread. But this syllabus week hits entirely different. Fintech companies are suddenly stepping up to do the heavy homework, and we're going to look at how one massive company essentially just turned your everyday late-night rent-splitting app into a literal university bursar's office. Here is our agenda for today's explainer. 1. Venmo pays your tuition. 2. Santander enters the top 10. 3. Zerohash hits a wall. And 4. The final fintech takeaway.
Section 1. Venmo pays your tuition. Think about the absolute biggest bill a typical 19-year-old ever pays. It's tuition, right? For sure. Well, PayPal has officially rolled out major integrations with 3 massive campus payment platforms: Illumia, Nelnet Campus Commerce, and TouchNet. To put that scale into perspective for a second, Illumia alone touches more than 10,000 institutions. What this means in plain English is that college students can now pay their tuition directly through PayPal or Venmo. This isn't some weird hacky workaround where you drain your Cash App balance to pay a student loan servicer. No, this is the official integrated plan.
And I really want to emphasize here, these aren't just tiny hypothetical beta tests. This rollout is already fully live at major, massive universities. We're talking Michigan State, Texas Tech, Butler, Kansas State, and Bellarmine, with even more schools slated to join throughout the academic year. PayPal isn't just dipping a toe into campus life. They're literally diving into the deep end.
Why are they doing this? Well, it all comes down to one absolutely massive number: 100 million. That's the sheer scale of Venmo right now. They boast a staggering 100 million active U.S. accounts. And here's the kicker: over half of those accounts belong to Gen Z or millennials. It is a highly active, incredibly captive audience.
So the crucial takeaway here is that this is not just about offering busy students a little extra convenience. Not at all. This is a total masterclass in embedded finance. That's the calculated strategy of integrating financial services directly into the platforms where consumers already exist, meeting them exactly where they're already managing their daily money. Actually, this is really the second act of a strategy that kicked off last year with those big student-athlete revenue share deals in the Big 10 and Big 12. They're basically building a complete, unavoidable financial ecosystem for young adults. Because look, as tuition inflation completely outpaces wage growth, PayPal realizes it doesn't need to chase Gen Z's attention with some flashy marketing campaign. Instead, it's just embedding itself directly into their biggest, most unavoidable bill. The exact same app you use to split a late-night pizza is now processing the biggest check most college students will ever write. Honestly, that is just incredibly smart distribution. Moving right along to Section 2. Santander enters top 10.
Okay, we are talking about billions with a B here. Banco Santander just officially confirmed the closing of its blockbuster acquisition of Webster Financial Corporation. This is a deal that was first announced back in February, and it has just closed at a staggering valuation of $12.3 billion. Guys, this isn't just a slight portfolio adjustment. This is a massive tectonic shift in the American banking landscape.
To really wrap your head around the strategy here, let's use a sports analogy. Santander had a choice in how to expand its U.S. footprint, right? They could have tried to slowly rebuild through the draft, meaning growing organically, branch by branch, but that takes years, and it comes with massive growing pains. Instead, they went out and bought a proven all-star starter. By acquiring an established major player like Webster, Santander instantly leapfrogged the competition to become a top 10 U.S. retail and commercial bank by assets. It's basically the banking equivalent of a massive trade deadline blockbuster. And Webster perfectly fills the strategic gaps in Santander's U.S. push. Where Santander needed a deeper stateside presence, Webster brings a highly valuable, relationship-driven deposit base. Where they needed more commercial chops, Webster immediately delivers advanced commercial banking. And where Santander really needed specialized offerings, Webster brings this standout healthcare financial services platform. Regional bank M&A has been heating up all year for one simple reason. Massive scale is quickly becoming the only real moat left in traditional banking. This acquisition literally buys Santander that moat.
And it all ultimately comes down to hitting this one specific target. Funded partly by a €3.56 billion capital increase, this cornerstone deal is designed entirely to help Santander hit a highly aggressive target of an 18% return on tangible equity in the US by 2028. Simply put, they're making sure the physical assets of the bank are generating maximum aggressive profit. It's a huge swing, and it proves that regional banking consolidation isn't slowing down anytime soon. All right, Section 3. Zerohash hits a wall. So the crypto firm Zerohash just hit a massive paperwork wall. They submitted an application for a national trust bank charter, which is a really huge deal for a crypto firm looking for federal legitimacy. But it was returned by the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, or the OCC. The OCC bounced the filing back, citing bulletin guidance that it was materially deficient and missing required information. This is actually the first regulatory action of its kind. Now, it's really important to distinguish what this actually means in practice. Zerohash is insisting this is strictly a frustrating administrative hiccup, essentially the fintech equivalent of submitting an amazing job application but getting automatically filtered out because your resume font was wrong. They want to emphasize that it is absolutely not an outright rejection on the merits of their business model. Technically, they're right. It's not a hard no, and they've actually already refiled the application this week. But the timing of this absolutely stings. When we look at the OCC's recent actions, a very distinct pattern emerges. It has been a rough month for crypto-adjacent charter seekers. Strike 1. The OCC denied the paytech firm Wise's National Trust Bank application. Strike 2. They rejected the Dutch neobank Bank's bid for a de novo, or brand new, charter. And now, strike 3, Zerohash gets its application returned. Listen, 3 strikes in one summer looks a whole lot less like a coincidence and a lot more like the OCC seriously tightening its strike zone on these genius act error filings. The ultimate takeaway here, the government still runs on paper jams. Even though Zerohash's day-to-day operations remain completely unaffected, securing this charter is the vital difference between running under a messy patchwork of state frameworks versus operating with full, unquestioned federal banking authority. The regulators are sending a crystal clear message. If you want to play in the big leagues, you cannot skip a single step. You are going to have to jump through every single hoop perfectly. And that brings us to Section 4, the final fintech takeaway. While these might seem like 3 totally different worlds, they actually all point to a massive maturation in the financial sector. PayPal and Venmo are proving that real innovation means embedding directly into our daily unavoidable lives and our biggest bills. Santander is showing us that for traditional banking, buying massive immediate scale is the ultimate survival strategy. And the clash between Zerohash and the OCC? That just proves that as crypto infrastructure grows up, regulators are relentlessly forcing it to play by incredibly strict federal rules. The architecture of money is changing at every single level, from the macro down to the micro. So I'll leave you with this question to ponder today. As these massive, unseen financial shifts continue to connect the apps on our phones with megabanks and tightening federal frameworks, how will they ultimately impact the way you manage your own wallet? Definitely something to think about. And hey, if this explainer helped you grasp these major moves, share it right now with that friend who still Venmo requests you for gas money. Thanks for learning with me today, and I'll see you in the next explainer.